Masters in the UK is like 1 year always. In the UK, you just need to prove your English language proficiencies. GRE was not required. University of Manchester did not allow professional LOR. I got a Vice Chancellor scholarship. University does not offer like TA positions for master's students. University has their own career center. Other than LinkedIn, there are many other job sites which are very useful for data science jobs. So one is CV Library and the other is Total Jobs. Under the student visa, if I don't have a job, once the course ends, a student can work more than 20 hours. Working together can help solve a lot of problems. I would give this one very important advice, like choose your modules very wisely.
Hi guys, welcome to College Dunia Study Abroad. This is Varun and today we have Aindrila Basu. She has pursued her master's in data science and analytics from University of Leeds and currently working as a data scientist. Hi Aindrila.
Hello Varun, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good as well.
Well, can you please introduce yourself to our viewers and talk about a little bit about your background?
Yeah, sure. So basically, I'm from Calcutta, India, and I pursued my bachelor's in a completely different field, which is chemical engineering. And after that, I went on to work in Infosys as a software developer. And from there on, my software journey began. And then while working as a developer, you deal with a lot of data and databases. So I just had that interest in me to study more about it. And I found that there are a lot of good master's courses in UK on data science, and which is the main reason why I chose to pursue my master's in
data science is like booming right now.
It's very much booming and it's very, very interesting. So as I developed my interest in it, I actually did some research on it, on the different universities, their courses, and what are the things that I would like to study. So based on that, I found the course in University of Leeds was according to my liking. So there's one thing that you find in data science is like a lot of computation programming is there, but you need to understand the statistical concepts behind everything, which University of Leeds provided.
Okay, so I'm guessing that's your reason, like the curriculum of University of Leeds made you choose the university.
Yeah, definitely.
That's nice. I think we all have to look into the curriculum on priority than anything else. Like that would be the priority, I guess.
Yes.
So
definitely.
which other universities have you applied for, and how many admits did you get?
I applied for a lot more universities. I applied for University of Cardiff, University of Sheffield. I applied, I guess, Nottingham. I've lost.
So how many? How many
total? I think I applied to probably 10 to 15 universities, and I got admitted into at least 8 of them.
So all in UK?
Yeah, all in the UK and all a bit away from London. I actually wanted to experience life outside of London as well.
Okay.
So I wanted to experience life in the north. So that is one of the reasons I chose to apply a bit of northern universities and in Wales as well. But
generally,
my first priority was University of Leeds.
Okay, and you got it. That's nice. So generally, when it comes to computer science or anything related to computers, like data science is part of computer science. So most of them go for US, right? IT US is like number one, they say. So what's your reason to choose UK? I mean, it's interesting to know.
First of all, masters in the UK is like 1 year always. So if you have a second year, that's basically a placement year where university places you at a job or you do some research. But like most master's courses completed in 1 year. So it's basically the cost of studying your master's, it's completed in 1 year. Whereas in the US, if it's a 2-year master's, you're paying for 2 years, which is slightly higher. So cost considerations and time considerations, both of that I felt
Some two
that
important things.
both are very important, and definitely the lifestyle in the UK and US, they are quite the living standards are higher than that in India. So definitely paying for 2 years of tuition is
It's
not that
expensive.
it's expensive, and it's not really it wasn't really possible for me. So I chose UK, and UK is also a very booming market for data science.
Okay, that's nice. That's good to know. So have you written any like GRE, TOEFL, IELTS? Like how did you apply for these universities? Any entrance exams or something?
Yeah, I took the IELTS exam because in the UK you just need to prove your English language proficiency. So GRE was not required. But I had taken GRE before a few years back. When I
so what was your score in IELTS?
I got I think I don't remember well, but I guess I got an 8 band. Overall,
that's a really
8.
nice score.
I don't remember the. Yeah.
Well, I think that's
I
only
think
the
my
overall,
English is quite proficient.
Oh yeah. So I think they just see the overall band. That's what mainly matters.
No, they like some universities have like each and every band should be above 6 and overall should be 7.5, like that. So at least above more than 6 in each band. That sort of requirements are there. That sort of requirement is there, and I think University of Manchester, like they have some each band requirement as well.
Okay, so I'm assuming that for these all these universities, you were supposed to submit your SOP and LORs and all. So how did you manage your SOP and LORs? Like, were your LORs academic or professional? Like, can you walk us through that?
I used a combination of both, but like University of Manchester did not allow a professional LOR, so I used 2 academic ones. But in University of Leeds, I provided an academic one from my undergrad project supervisor, and one from my manager at work at Infosys.
So you did submit from both the sides? Like
yes, so that said, it was a combination based on what they wanted.
Yeah. So like your course is like for 1 year, right? And were you able to do any internships? I think I'm assuming that it was a tight packed course, and
no, I could not do any internships because when I came into UK, I wasn't, to be honest, that well aware that when I should have applied for the internships. So if I want to do a summer internship, definitely I should have applied long time back. But the issue with that is you don't get enough time for your dissertation if you are working in an internship. And otherwise, there's another option, that is if you have applied for your internship beforehand, then the project that you do with them, that can be submitted as your dissertation. So
okay, so it is counted more like a dissertation.
So depends. If you actually have a data science based job, like data science based internship, where you are working on a project with them which is novel, and you can present it as your dissertation as a research.
Okay, so that I think the course structure is pretty different from many other universities or courses. Can you talk a bit more about the course structure? Like, how is the course in MS in Data Science and Analytics at University of Leeds?
Okay, so basically there's a lot of freedom to choose between modules. Although like you have, the course is under the School of Mathematics. So definitely there is a need to choose 30 credits from mathematics and 30 from computer science. Other than that, the rest of the credits, so 30 and 30, 60 is done. The rest 60 credits
in 1 year,
other than your dissertation. Yeah, in 1 year we have 180. 60 goes to dissertation. rest 120. From there 30 and 30. 30 from mathematics, 30 from computing. Rest of
That's
the
a lot
60
of
you can
credits.
rest of the credits you can distribute between mathematics, computing, there's school of geography and business, because some people want to do business analytics more, and some
Mhm.
people want urban data analytics and
Yeah.
spatial analysis, so they go for courses under the school of geography.
So there are good
For
amount of
me,
electives, I'm assuming.
yes, so basically there's one mandatory course in the first semester, that is the basic data science course, which is under computing. And in the second semester, we had a learning skills through case studies, which is like basically how to present reports and write
Okay.
reports in LaTeX so that we can use it for our dissertation, poster presentation. All these
Mhm.
skills were taught. Other than that, rest of the things you can choose on your own based on the
Okay.
credits that you want from each of these schools that they are offering the
Yeah.
modules from.
Well, 180 credits
So
is a lot.
yeah, so 60, the entire 60 credits is for dissertation, the last final 60. That is the main reason.
Okay. Okay, that's
But
a interesting course structure.
yeah, and I chose maximum credits from computing. So like I had 30 credits on mathematics, which is basic statistical analysis and statistical modeling,
Mhm.
and rest of my courses were all computing based, like programming and for data science, and we had like a knowledge representation and reasoning module, which
Yeah.
goes through
That,
logical reasoning, and then
yeah.
obviously machine learning, artificial
That's
intelligence.
always there for data science, I guess. That's like one of the core subjects for data science. So can we talk a bit about your fee structure? Like, what was the fees for this 1 year course, and like, did you have any scholarships in your hand?
The course fees, I applied in 2021, so the course fees was, I think, 25,500 pounds. I got a vice chancellor scholarship for
Oh,
my merit in my, like, all throughout my academic career, where I had a
yeah.
more than 80% marks. So I think that is given to quite a few people. It's like basic, everybody gets it automatically, you don't have to apply for it. So that's the £2,000 reduction on the fees.
So your merit profile has did help you out to get a scholarship, I guess.
A bit, yeah, definitely. So and
So,
I have found that it was awarded to most people who had I think above 70 or above 75% marks throughout
so
their
guys,
academic
note
career.
this: you better maintain a good academic background to get any scholarships. So for international students, like, do the university offer any good TA or RA positions, or like, how do students earn? You know, like we being international students, it's not cheap for us, even for the living. So obviously, we look for other sources, like any part times or something. So how does that work?
Okay, so this is very different from US, because I know in the US it's like they all masters and PhD students, they have to work in the university. So university does not offer like TA positions for master's students. So the main jobs you can do at the university is listed on the university website, where you can search for
Okay.
part times. So it's like working in the library, working in the union, working in retail stores.
Mhm.
But those are really few and limited. But you can work anywhere else part time for 20 hours every week. So in
Okay.
Leeds, there are like many restaurants and retail stores which hire all throughout the year.
And they don't have any time restrictions, right? Like, only.
No, so the thing is, as a student, you can only work 20 hours every week. So you can manage your schedule around it. If you're working in a restaurant or a retail store, obviously they have their timings, like opening and closing timings. You might have to
Mhm.
work at weekends, or you might have to work on days you don't have classes. So you can schedule around that.
Yeah,
But
that
there
seems
are
nice.
scope for working flexible shifts. Like I used Indeed Flex, and there's another one that is Arc Hospitality.
So I was
So
going to come to that. Like, have you Did you do any part-time jobs, and can you talk about it?
Yeah. So Indeed Flex and Arc Hospitality, they offer flexible shifts, and even the university has they have uh, one app. If anybody wants to look for part-time jobs in the student union, so there is this app. There is a place in the student union, like in the basement, where they register you for an app called Pairim, and even they offer shifts all throughout, like different stadiums and arenas in
Okay.
Leeds.
Okay. So, what was your role, and how much was your pay? Like, on a monthly
So
scale, you can.
monthly, I would not. I never really work 20 hours every week,
A
so I
ballpark
hardly
number,
work like
maybe.
10. I hardly work say 10 hours every week. So the wages here is for someone who's above 23 years old. The wages is 10.5 per hour. That's the minimum wage. So in a month, I earn sometimes. So since it was flexible, I worked around my coursework. So some months I earned 500, some months I earned 300. So it kept varying. In some months I didn't work at all when I had an exam.
Your course is pretty hectic, so obviously I think it.
1 year, everything is fit into 1 year. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So talking about the future prospects, after you graduate from MS in data science and analytics, how would the university help you in getting a job? What resources do the university provide?
So university has their own career center where they do CV screenings, and they help you help you create a proper CV which can give you jobs. Then you can register through your university email on target jobs. So these are something which give the graduates opportunities to look for employers in graduate schemes. So basically, you will get an email that these employers are looking for these kind of people, these kind of disciplines, and they're looking for graduates or experience. Mostly they are graduates because it's a university thing.
Are there any career fairs?
We had career fairs, but since it was just post-COVID 2021.
Is it anywhere helpful?
So I had to attend them online, and I had to work around my pre-existing classes. So they in the career fair, when I am registering online, there's a limit of how many people can have one-on-one interactions with the employer. So if there's a group one, that's also fine. But if you're actually right now, since it's offline, they will be able to go and speak to employers, but for online Zoom, it's very limited. So I did not get that opportunity, I would say. I didn't have that opportunity.
How did you find your job, the full-time job you are currently doing?
Through LinkedIn, yeah. But other than LinkedIn, there are many other job sites which are very useful for data science jobs. So one is CV Library, and the other is Total Jobs. CV Library and Total Jobs, I registered on these, and I applied for different positions on them. And LinkedIn, if you have LinkedIn alerts set for data scientist jobs in UK, I had them set since November or December of 2021. So I used to keep applying on LinkedIn. Initially, I tried for a few graduate schemes, but the best time to start for graduate schemes is just right when you arrive in the UK, because they have a very lengthy process. And by the time I had given my third stage interview, it was almost all the people had been selected, and I didn't get a final stage call. Although I had cleared my third stage, I didn't get a final stage call.
The positions were filled, I guess.
Yeah, so for graduate schemes, it's very important to just do it as soon as you arrive in the UK, or maybe even before if possible. So because you can find them, find their websites, basically all banks and all financial companies, everything, they all have graduate schemes for various positions.
I think they have a different kind of like campus to corporate kind of programs. That's the reason they take a really long time and
And
also
it's
offer
like a
a
2 year.
long training.
It's a 2 year training for
Exactly,
a
long
graduate.
training and longer training and everything. So it's like from the scratch thing, I guess. So when you were applying jobs on LinkedIn, like how many jobs would you used to apply per day?
I kept applying as many as possible. So I wouldn't. So the maybe some days I
No
applied for
number.
20, some days
Yeah.
50 again. So like overall from LinkedIn, I may have applied for 200 to 300 jobs. But from LinkedIn, if I have seen a vacancy and I have applied on the company's website, so I'm guessing I have
There are
applied for
many
more than
different ways, I
500
guess.
jobs.
Well, finally you landed in a job that you wanted, so that's good.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
what is the average salary that a student can expect once he graduates from your course, from your university?
Okay, so again, depends a bit on prior experience. I didn't have a prior experience in data science to say. So the thing is, as an entry level data scientist, you can expect between 30 to 35,000 pounds per year.
Okay, okay. Like, can we know like what are you earning right now?
I'm only 35.
Oh, fine. Like that's the entry level as you mentioned, and that's good.
Yes, so that is what is offered, and like inside London, like central London, the jobs might be a bit more paid, like maybe 38 to 40. But my office is like on the outside of London. It's in Surrey, which is
Okay,
right next to London, but it's outside. So that's why
okay.
the salary ranges are a bit less. But if you
But
look
still,
on
like
the
as you
government
mentioned, I
website,
think I think based on the average salaries, you still did good. Like it's not like you're below them or something. So that's a good thing.
Uh, yeah, definitely. And the government website has listed salaries, like listed basic salary for all these jobs, because until and unless you're paid that amount in that role, you are not entitled for sponsorship. So
Okay,
that is why the government also has listed amounts. So I guess for data science, it is close to 28.
okay. So what companies hire like from your course? Like what kind of any few companies that you can mention? Like they're like frequent hires or something.
Frequent hires. So basically, I've seen most of them are service based, and they hire data scientists for client projects that they are
Mm-hmm.
willing to work on. So even I am working in the service based industry, but data
Okay.
scientists are hired by even all in the financial sector. They have like KPMG, EY, PwC. They
Yeah.
all hire
Big
data
Four.
scientists, and they hire graduate data scientists as well. And the
Oh,
banks are definitely there. So HSBC, Santander, NatWest, they all have data scientist openings.
that's nice. So that means we have to concentrate on the Big Four and the finance companies. They have frequent
Yeah, you
openings.
can. Yeah, definitely.
So what's the visa situation once you graduate? Can you explain a little on that? Like as you mentioned right now that the government has certain set pay range for the visa sponsorship and all. Like generally when one graduates, what is his visa situation?
Okay, so there are two different ways this thing can go. Once you graduate, until and unless you get your results, you basically you're still in your student visa, and the student visa lasts like 3 to 4 months after your course ends. So course ends in September, and my visa ends in January. So
Mm-hmm.
after that, I can apply for a graduate visa, which is a 2 year
Okay.
extension period under which I can look for jobs if I haven't already got a job. So if
Okay.
under the student visa, if I don't have a job, I can apply for graduate visa for 2 years, and
Okay.
I can look for jobs for those 2 years. And like some people get hired while they are on their graduate visa, and they can later on change to a sponsored visa. That is
Okay.
the
So do
tier
you
2
have good
skilled
amount
worker.
of time to actually look for a job and you don't need to hurry?
Yes, we do.
The only thing is
But
that you need to
again,
manage living, I guess.
Yeah, so definitely, but once the course ends, a student can work more than 20 hours. So they, even if they are on a part time, they can go full time in that same job while they are looking for a job in their
Okay,
domain. So
okay,
it's not
that's
that you
something
are
new.
jobless, so you can start working in in the retail stores or any hospitality, any sort of
Okay.
part time that you've been doing, you can move to full time. More than 20 hours, so 40 hours is fine for that. Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's nice. So I recently came across this new UK visa thing, like India Youth Professional Scheme visa something. I don't know if you have heard about it. Do you have any idea about it?
So this visa actually existed before. I've just seen that it's become a bit more popular now.
Yeah. Oh, it
So yeah,
existed
there's a
since
youth
before. Okay.
mobility. So it's a youth mobility scheme where you can uh, come to the UK as a talented uh, individual if you have graduated from a world top university anywhere in the world,
Okay.
but except UK.
Yeah, got it. Outside.
Outside of UK, yeah. So I guess
That's
that sort
nice.
of visa, it existed, but I don't think it's that common for people to
Nowadays, I
use.
think it got some spotlight then.
I guess so, especially
Yeah.
after Rishi Sunak became the PM here. It
Yeah,
seems like he's
maybe
starting all
that's the
these,
main
but
reason. Yeah, I know, right? Maybe
yeah,
that's the main
he
reason.
made it more popular. I think so. He made it more popular.
Yeah. So, coming to the living expenses, so what are the average monthly expenses that a student can expect while he's studying at University of Leeds?
Okay, so student towns are a bit cheaper on the rent. Leeds is still higher compared to other student cities, to be honest. So my rent, I had to pay bills separately, and I lived in a private accommodation. So my rent was a bit lower compared to people living in a student accommodation. So if you're living in a
Okay.
university student accommodation, it
I think
will
that's
be
always
listed on the
expensive. Yeah.
university website. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it is already mentioned in the website, like how much the cost would be for living in which
Yeah.
of their accommodation. But my accommodation was very close to the university, so it was like
Okay.
there's a student accommodation of the university, and I used to live in the next lane.
Yeah. So
So
they just not tie
it,
up with the university. Maybe that's the
yeah,
only thing.
so mine was a private residence, like three girls, we shared the house. It was fine,
So
like and was
how
very
much was your
close.
rent?
So my rent was 330 pounds per month, but I had to pay bills separately. My bills, once I paid the bills, I think it went up to 420 or 430, something like that. Yeah.
So your average expense in a month, like include everything, like food, going out, everything. So what's the ballpark number you would give on an average?
I am the wrong person to ask this because I really did not party much and go out much. I
So
was very
that's
much
even more
focused on
better,
my
you know. We
course.
will know the
I was
minimum
very
number.
focused on my course, and
You
I
have to.
paid
It's a
my
1 year course, so I guess you have to. You did a good job.
yeah. So again, rent, it varies from say 400 pounds to
Yeah.
500, a
So just a
maximum.
ballpark number, like overall total that over after a month, if you see, okay, kitna spend kiya, how much would it be?
It can go a lot if you are buying food from outside, if you eat out a lot, or if you order food a lot. But if you're cooking at home, groceries should not be like more than 100 pounds. It doesn't go beyond that. If it's like one person eating food alone, and if you're sharing with people, like sharing the house with people, sharing bills and everything, so for me, I would say rent shouldn't go above 500, and food maybe say 100 to 150. So I think
Around 750.
600,
750.
600 to 650, maximum
Okay.
700 should be an estimated cost. Like based on
Okay.
if you want to, sometimes you want to eat outside, sometimes you want,
Yeah.
drinks,
Yeah. So
drinks and
that varies, I guess. Yeah.
stuff. I'm
Yeah.
guessing those are variables.
Yeah, so basically what I was looking for, just a ballpark number, like a base number, like let's say could be like I don't want to enjoy anything, but
I
generally
think
other topics
minimum
enjoy.
is
Okay,
600.
600. That's nice. So can you share like one good experience, one bad experience throughout your time studying abroad in the university?
Um, uh, Good. Okay, I'll start with bad first because I was really hoping, like they had already mentioned, since there were no COVID rules, that we would have face-to-face classes, but we had to sit through most of it online, even though it was, advertised as they are starting in-person classes. We like only had a few labs that we
Yeah,
could have had online. So definitely it was not that. I mean, when you go to a university abroad, you
you
want to
expect
enjoy the
more.
university life.
Yeah,
So yeah, so my it was not as per my expectations. So yeah, overall the course that I thought I would enjoy with friends and things. So that wasn't as per my expectations. And I would say one more thing. Although I know that I lived in a private accommodation, but there's one important thing about living with students, because maybe some people from your course also live there. You get to interact with them and study with them, and that's sometimes it's helpful to have people in the same building,
hmm,
who are in your course, and you can have discussions with them when you are
yeah.
working on
It helps you keep motivated and
assignments.
work,
And
I guess.
yes, exactly, working together can help solve a lot of problems very
Yeah.
soon, because it's not always necessary that you can get access to TAs or professors all the time for all your doubts.
I'm sorry, like I forgot to ask you about one thing. So can you like talk about any projects that you have worked on during your course? Anything that you want to mention?
We have a lot of assignments and courseworks that are part of the course. So I would say, like, one most important ones that I have done, which are actually going useful in as a data science, useful when working as a data scientist. So that is the machine learning coursework, where we did a predictive analysis on cancer mortality rates in different US counties. So
Okay.
basically, we are based on the past data. We are predicting that how many people might die of cancer in those counties.
Okay.
So that
That's
was one.
interesting.
So predictive and healthcare. So both of those things were involved. And I had a course on artificial intelligence, which was completely focused on deep learning, that is neural networks. So there we had two different courseworks, and both of them were very important. So the first one was image processing. So basically, you just process the images and try to predict what this image actually is. That was
Well,
one very important one. And the second one was to generate captions of images. So
okay.
basically, image to text model. We're
Okay.
training like one image, and we are giving them 5 captions for each image.
Yeah.
And then we are
Oh,
getting, so in the output
that's
of that image,
interesting.
I want to see that how it comes up with its own caption based on the
Well,
features it
that's
sees
how
in the
this all.
image.
Uh, that's how all this chat GPT and all were built, I guess. This is
Okay, so
interesting.
ChatGPT is completely natural language processing, which
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
missed
have a
out a
familiar
bit
idea.
because we didn't have like there is actually a separate module on uh, data mining
God,
and text
yeah.
data,
Well,
but
you have
I
a
did
long
not take
way to
that.
go. You can learn it now
But
during your job,
I'm
maybe.
learning NLP during, exactly, I'm working
That's
on
good.
NLP stuff right now. A
That's
lot of
nice.
models
All the
I've
best
built.
for that. All the
Yes,
best for that.
yeah.
So, do you have any advices to the students who are planning to pursue masters at your university?
um I would give this one very important advice, like choose your modules very wisely. So basically, I know you have to select mathematics modules, but I made this huge mistake where I thought that I would study very like linear regression and cluster analysis in mathematics, but I didn't have a strong hold on basic statistics. So that was
Okay.
choosing them would have been very difficult. So I changed my module right after I started, like after 1 or 2 weeks into the course, I changed my modules to basic statistical analysis. So statistical theory and statistical analysis. So these were the two modules that I took. So basically, if you don't have a proper grasp on mathematics, like you don't have a mathematics background, if you're just doing computing or engineering as such, so mathematics, it should go for the basic modules and learn more of computing.
Yeah, I think it's better to go through the whole coursework and then decide on what courses they want to. That's nice. Well, it was really nice talking to you. Thank you so much for giving time and actually sharing a lot of your experience.
Yeah, Varun, and another thing I forgot to mention, my dissertation. I did tell you
Oh,
about my coursework,
yeah.
but my dissertation. So I did my dissertation on recommender systems. So basically,
Okay.
like Netflix recommends you movies. So I did it on an open source data set from H&M, where
Oh,
it would recommend clothes based on past purchases.
mhm.
So that was also very,
That's
very
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah, it's some
And since I
real world
had
project.
enough time, since I had enough time to actually complete the project, so it was 3 months, and I did a lot of research into recommender systems and their implementation and how to evaluate that. So
That's
it
nice.
was
That's
really fun
interesting.
and
And I
interesting.
think you even won a prize for that.
Yes, I did. So my
Congrats on that.
dissertation was under CDRC, which is Consumer Data Research Center. So they provide this opportunity to a few universities which actually work with them. So it's UCL, University of Leeds, University of Liverpool, University of Oxford. So some of those universities, students are given this opportunity to apply for different projects with different companies. So the
Okay.
companies provide you with any open source or their own data sets,
Mhm.
and you can work on them, work with them. So I actually I worked with a company called Canos Group, and
Okay.
they wanted me to work on the retail H&M data set. So
Okay.
basically, I had supervisors from the company who used to have meetings with me, and they guided me all throughout my dissertation. So it's like a
Oh,
real life industry
yeah.
experience.
That's a good experience you had, like really wonderful experience. Well, it was really nice talking to you, and thank you for sharing all your experience. And I hope it will really
Yeah,
benefit our viewers. Thank you.
yeah. Thank you so much for actually
Yeah.
having me here.
All right. Bye bye.